Hey, so we're looking at week two. I'm looking at week two. I had a long week. There was a lot of snow, a lot of life, a lot of humaning. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, and it ended up mostly being like database related.
What's the point if there are no decisions and everything's simple and there's nothing of interest? What's the point if we throw ourselves in jail?
I want to apologize for the nasty feedbacky sound in my microphone. There's I don't know if it's a ground loop, but that's what everybody calls them. And it's a device, and I figured it out before, but I can't find it this time around, and it's just, yeah. So, anyways, with that aside, we're going to look into this whole week two complete nonsense. Yeah, so I meant to, like last week, I was really excited because I'm getting out of the database mode and I wanted to start making gameplay. I was super excited to start making some of the gameplay, and I was all happy because I was loading asset bundles in, and because I had been doing so much of this like databasey, usernames and passwords and primary keys. I kept going, and I ended up making this kind of a ship customization panel. You can see I can change like the colors. I have two. Each ship will have two color mappings for now, and I can actually connect them to different properties. So if I wanted to have like an emissive map and I wanted one of the colors to affect the emissive color instead, I can do that really easily. I don't know if I'll need that, but it just popped. Then it's going to take this, and when you change values, oh yeah, and I have tooltips. Let's keep it on track. So when you change the values, you'll be able to save or revert to the previous colors that you have saved in your profile. You're going to have a hanger, and I do have a hanger thingamabob. I don't want to hit it right now. It's not done yet, but you're going to have a hanger where you go in and you can see all the ships that you have. You can buy new ships, and then you can customize them in here. You can see that I've got four little panels here for engine. You might not be able to read it, but engine, weapons, instrument, and colors. The instrument is for a gameplay mechanic that I want to do. Something like where you're in the two-dimensional field, or yeah, you're moving up and down, left and right, and maybe there's a line that appears and it's curved and you follow it. I think I might have discussed this last week, but you'd follow it and you'd press a button, kind of like Guitar Hero, I guess is the best, is like a timing sequencing kind of thing. So the instrument would be the variability of that mechanic that you're able to control. And I'm not really sure how I want that to look, but I got a lot of different ideas. So I wanted to keep the interface piece in there so that I could quickly swap them in and out. But the engine is working because it has the most functionality that I know for sure I want to throw into my game. Features above and beyond that original nThread demo test that I made. And then I just started whipping up the database, like kind of the back end for all of this, just out of habit. I didn't mean to. I was doing so much of it that it just felt right to continue down that path, and I'm okay with that. It was a much less eventful kind of a week than I thought it would be. It was not as exciting, and I was so busy. Like I had my human life come in and just say, hey, you have a family and all these things. So I just kind of took a more passive, designy kind of role, I guess, and that's where I am. I'm still designing the game. I'm making it, but it's definitely like a prototype, or a sandbox right now. It's all set up so that I could just tear it all down and then build something real in its place. And I'm enjoying it so far. I really like this little two-color system. I've never really played around with something like this. I have the colors now loading. I don't have them saving because there's no back end to connect to, but everything's just being bypassed into the game so that I can get some game or some testing out of it. So another thing I wanted to show off was, well, now that I'm done rambling, I can show off the hangar. I'll leave the scene running here, and of course, I just poorly set it all up. There we go. So, we get rid of my ship, and oh, look at that, that's still there. for reasons, you know, good reasons. I'll fix that up later. I'll get rid of it. And then we'll pop up the hanger, which I just saw. I was just messing with it. It is kind of a mess, but it's a really organized mess. And I like that. My hanger. So there's the hanger, and oh, the ships aren't showing up. I must have... I don't know what I did with them. Hanger cam. I must have deleted all the ships. No. That's why you always test before you go and put junk in. Interface overlay? No. Yeah, I'm just in the process of breaking things. How humiliating. I don't mind though. This is literally what I was working on an hour ago. But what it was is you could see all 6 of the ships, and there'd be pages or whatever, but then the ships, they get loaded in as asset bundles too, but I'm going to bundle a few of them together because they're quite a bit smaller. Yeah, so then it makes a simple, like a web request out. It says, hey, I need the ships for this user. Sends back the data that I need. The parts themselves are kind of like modules. They're scriptable assets. So I can whip up ship parts, and they just have basic statistics to them. There's nothing magical going on there. The bundles are packaged together, so each ship is an element, and it has what I call an identity. Got some default colors in there. It's got, you know, how do I map the colors to the color maps? I could map the 2 colors to more than 2 textures, which is something that I really enjoy. I haven't gotten to enjoy it yet, but I will. The components themselves, they have a part, kind of like a shape, or maybe a quality, you could say. So each ship will have a advantages and strengths in terms of which parts you can choose to fill in your ship with. I don't want to make too much of a fuss about the different parts. I just kind of wanted to make it so that there were components of gameplay that you could use to change your ship to maybe more suit your playstyle. And I want to keep them really simple, because when you get into the whole thing of high scores, which I want to matter, I want it to be kind of easy to break it down. I want, you know, like, I want it so that everybody has roughly the same potential, and then there's a few different ways to go about it. And that always, in my head, that always turns into like this kind of balancing act. So it's got to be simple. It's got to stay simple. Another thing I'd love to show off right now is, well, it's not really much of a show off. Let's see though, if, no, it won't download. Oh, probably because, oh yeah, 2 things happened. 2 things happened. This was nuts. The project itself, I got an age-old, I guess, Unity error related to a mesh I was working with. It was giving me bad alphabets. A, B, B, A, invalid, all kinds of crazy, you know. And every time I Google it, it always seemed to be a Unity-sided issue, but there are certain causes, and it was probably related to the animation for my Demon Seed guy, which I had to redo. And then I went and started messing around with the version of Unity I was working with. I completely broke the project right before I had set it up for version control. So now I have it in a Git repo, and I've completely rebuilt it, which is fine because there's not much to it, and it's cleaner now. My structure is a lot, it's bigger, but it's cleaner, I guess, and I'm happy with it. But I did have to not really start over. I've got code, tons of code and models and stuff that I just ported right over, but I had to reconstruct everything. And that made me think about, you know, how easy is it to reconstruct this? And it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So that was a thing. And then just after that, like I think it was like the next day and the next time I had sat down, I just finished getting everything roughly working the way it was working before. And then, oh no. And then the canvas that I was working on, I messed with the canvas's settings. It's the render mode and the render camera and everything. I wanted to get this UI. I have the turny, you know, preview, and it's actually kind of enveloped inside of a thing, and I'm using a dirty method for that, but I'm thinking of better ones. I want to learn the whole render texture thing. But while I was trying to configure the canvas to do that properly, the entire UI imploded, and all of the position values for everything went null, or nan, I should say. And it was just like, oh, this is awesome. I'm just redoing everything. Okay, fun. So everything is new. It's all just prototypey junk, right? Like, it's not like I want it to look like this in the end. I just want the layout to be vaguely similar, and I want to display the same information. That's about it. But yeah, I had to rebuild it. So that took me a long time. But it also put me in a place where, it started me on this momentum where, okay, I guess I'm doing interfaces and kind of back-endy stuff to connect these up. Because I was just going to have whatever ship I wanted testing all the scenes, but now I'm loading up the hangar thing and doing it. Maybe it's a bad idea, but from my perspective, it'll be nice to have the whole part of, like, how do I get the ship and its values from the main menu or from the account information to a playable ship, which is something that I've never done before. So I like the idea of verifying that I can do this and spending some time on it while my brain is open to that idea. And that's, like, sadly, that's about it. There's tons of little stuff, though. Like, I have this, I've already figured out how I want my animator to kind of show you. Oh, did this get deleted too? That's okay. We can fix it up real quick. You'll have to bear with me a bit, but that's okay. I wanted to, how do you get from the menu to the scene? And I have this menu scene going on right now. Or how do you get from the menu to the level, I guess is the real way to put it. And honestly, what I'm looking at right now is confusing me, but yep, there we go. So there it is. And you click, and there's hell, I loaded it in. Oh, okay. So when I hit custom match earlier, it actually did something. Hey, things aren't doing so bad. So that's the reveal, right? So the ship, this will all disappear. The ship will be there, and hell will have a real skybox, not like this happy hell nonsense. And look, there's the hangar. You can see the hangar ships for some reason have been, it's the brand new stuff. But I like the reveal, and I can make different animations for that. You can see my title screen shadow plays off of it a little bit, which it's been. See that the lighting changes. I was having a bit of, you sit down and you're like, I have 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and what am I gonna casually, have some fun with? Especially after having to rebuild everything. It's like, just give me something dumb and tiny. Give me a toy problem to take my mind off of how frustrated I am with my own stuff. So yeah, that's exciting. Maybe not, but that'll be kind of cool, especially if I add something different. Like I could add themed kind of reveal animations, and then so you load, or you click your button, and boom, I'm in game, I'm playing, and I'm flying through space. Yeah, it's going to be good. And that's literally all I want to say, because I want to finish this right now, and I want to play my game.